right, so fuck, what's our show called? Beagles to Bullets, Bullets to Beagles. Why can I not get this fucking
Beagles to Bullets? Fuck
Beagles
me.
to Bullets. So hi, welcome to Binge Buddies. Beagles to Bullets. Me, your host, is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog, all of the Dalmatians, Dykes.
That's from 101 Dalmatians. I know that one.
Gee, let me think. Is it from Beethoven?
No.
Should have called him Pongo.
I
got that as well. Pongo's
Zombie Pongo Dog.
Well, since he's
I mean,
talking,
to be fair,
well,
I'm actually disappointed that at some point my nickname has not been Matt Zombie Dogs Dykes. The Zombie Dogs from Resident Evil.
If the Zombie Dogs were on this list, it would have been you every week. But unfortunately, they did not make this list from Entertainment Weekly that I found. So, but all of the Dalmatians did. And don't forget, the list of all the famous dogs from movies and TV also includes one from a book. So this list isn't great. But we do have Joel Fly DeWitte.
Fly. Airbud.
Nope. That was Buddy. We did that one last week, the week before.
Fly. Is this something I'm aware of?
Absolutely. 100%.
Fly.
Fly. F-L-Y.
Fly. F-L-Y.
Yeah. It's a talking dog. It has a real grumpy husband who's played by Hugo Weaving. There's a lot of talking animals in this movie. Nope. Lots and lots of talking animals.
The Matrix.
Homeward Bound 2.
No. I'll give you the biggest clue in the world so we can actually talk about John Wick 3 at some point. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Babe.
Come on. Babe.
Hugo Weaving's in that? I had no idea.
Yeah, Hugo Weaving's in that.
He plays the other dog.
Oh wow.
He's a grumpy dog that is racist against pigs.
Yes.
So.
And let's not forget Ryan Comet Lootens.
Comet, that's Full House.
Yes, it is. I don't think I would have gotten Fly either, and I fucking love Babe, but I didn't remember, like, if I didn't have the list in front of me, I don't think I would have gotten that one. But
you should have gotten another flying dog, so it kept with the theme. I mean, you got Fly, you got Comet, all things that go through the air.
Nah, I like throwing the curveball for Matt. Just all of the Dalmatians. There's 101 of them. One of them could have flown through the air at some point.
You're right.
I mean, if they stack on top of each other, they're technically high enough up to be classed as flying.
I guarantee you there was one dog that was probably named like Sore and another dog that was probably named Shithead.
Yeah.
Matt, would you have gotten it if he said Pongo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Pongo.
All right.
None of the others I would have got. I never would have got any of the others. But Pongo I would have got.
Isn't the girl's name like, what is it?
No idea.
No clue. I'd forgotten Pongo. So
moving on.
All right, so here we are talking John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. It's a movie I had not seen before we did this review, because I got, if you were not paying attention the last couple of weeks, I got very checked out in the theater after part 2. 2 did not work for me at all. So I never saw 3 because I figured it'd be more of the same. My very quick take on it is that it is a remarkable step forward from 2, but didn't fix everything that I had problems with in 2. It just did them better, if that makes any sense. Like, okay, that stuff bothered me in 2. It still bothers me in 3, but not as much. It just feels like you've learned what you were trying to do a little bit, so like I can ignore those problems. Plus 3 has Zero as the villain, who is way better than anything in 2. That guy was great. I love Fanboy Assassin, like that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm into it. I'm into 3. It's not my favorite movie. I don't think I'm going to be going back to it much after this podcast, but I dug it. It was fun enough. We're going to go hot, cold, because I know Joel and I are kind of on the same train. So we'll let Ryan go next. What would your hot take on John Wick Chapter 3?
So again, I know I saw 3 and 4 when they came out in the theaters, and these movies are definitely made for you to see them in the theater. I remember really liking 3, but on my second go around of 4 is definitely sitting with me more, just because the visuals in 4 are so much better, but we'll get into that next week. But 3 was just a lot of fun, and like there's so many intricacies in 3 that are just so well done. The plot is good, and then they also weave more of what I prefer of this vast criminal world of assassins, which you think like it's getting ridiculous, but it is what it is. You just have to. What I like about these movies is these are movies that you can just let go and just let them play out, and it's fine. You can look at them with a critical eye, or you can just sit there and let yourself have fun. And if you sit yourself and immerse yourself in the world, it's a good time. And I really enjoyed it when I watched it. 3 is definitely one of my favorites, but now that I've watched 4 a second time and really kind of sat down and just kind of like took in some of those amazing shots, 4 is definitely gonna fight for 3 for my number 1 pick.
All right, Joel, what's your hot take on 3?
Is the plot good?
I gotta agree with Joel on that
one. Okay, just briefly touching on the plot. This is just John Wick on the run. Like I'm not sure there is much real plot beyond that. At least not what I gleaned. There's a lot of cool moments that are strung together very loosely in my mind to where I got bored with this movie. and I hate saying that, but I checked the clock at about like an hour, 20 minutes in. So I had another 40 minutes and went, shit. I'm still going through this. And it's not that it's a bad movie. It is one of the better made looking movies and musical cue wise and action. It's top shelf. So I feel like I should enjoy it more than I did, but I think the lack of true plot, and I didn't feel much of a heart in this movie either. It sort of detracts a little bit for me. Like I said, functionally very competent, very good movie. I just there are big and little problems that make me sort of on the same page as Brian. Like I won't watch this again.
Can I ask a question?
We're supposed to be doing Matt's hot take now, Ryan, but I guess if you need to ask a question.
All right, we'll let Matt do his thing, and then we'll get into it.
Okay. Matt.
All right.
Hot take.
I should just say, you asked the question to ask if you ask a question.
It's already done. It's done.
Shut up, Matt.
I really enjoy this one. This was the first one I saw at the cinema. I came out of it thinking, it was pretty good. It's not as good as 2. On rewatches, I've actually thought, this is actually a lot better than I thought originally. And I like the sort of like the way that they build out the world a bit more with like, got the adjudicator coming in. And what I really like about this one, and I don't know if anyone picked up on this, the villain of Zero. First of all, the villains in this one way better than any of the villains in the second one.
Agreed.
But Zero, like if we look at John Wick and Zero as animals, John Wick's a dog. Zero and his people, Zero and his students are cats. They play with John Wick so much. It's like a cat playing with when it catches like a mouse or something, then it plays with it. So like when the fight where they're like, we're big fans, Mr. Wick, and they're kind of messing with him. They're just like playing with him and having fun, and I love that. Like I picked up on that a lot more. There's like the first time you're introduced to Zero, before he even talks about, I'm more of a cat guy myself. There's a cat like literally in the background on his little sushi bar, just sleeping, and there's this cat imagery all around when he's there, and I like that. I think that's a really clever way of very subtly putting the difference between this is John Wick and this is Zero, and the way that they function is differently. But yeah, I like the expansion of the world as well. We get Halle Berry in it in a very brief role, but she's pretty awesome in it. And yeah, I enjoy it. I think the Continental, we'll get to it, but I think the attack on the Continental is a very, very, very cool set piece, because it's kind of like when you play Mass Effect. I don't know if any of you have played Mass Effect.
Oh yeah,
that first Mass Effect, and you spend a lot of the game wandering around the Citadel, and then at the end of the game you get to fight in the Citadel, and it's kind of like, ooh, this is actually cool now. Like, I'm actually getting to shoot my way through this place that I've been spending most of the game wandering through, and it's kind of had that feeling of like you've seen people just kind of like walking through and being present in it, and now you're getting them blowing the shit out of it, and it's kind of like, fun.
Cool. Ryan, what was your question?
Okay, so do you think that you have a problem with the plot because this movie is just so much of a continuation of 1 and 2?
I can see your point. I think my issue is if you just see it as an extension of the prior stories rather than having its own open and closed loop plot, it feels like a middle child in ways that are unsatisfying, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think part of that is my problem. The other problem I have, John Wick is the least interesting person in this movie.
But that's what he's been trained to do. He's
sure, but I mean, if you look at the first movie, he is the most captivating figure, even with the surrounding of the Continental, all the people he's murdering. You've got investment into him as a person, and the way the series go on, they just chip away more and more at his humanity in a way that makes sense, but I don't know that I like.
That's the point. You saw him at his best, and he's reverting to his persona, why he is feared. So that's, I mean, and when I say plot, I mean plot of this entire franchise. I don't mean of this one movie. It's like Matt said, the extensive world building. It's not just, we're seeing more of the high table, and we see more of the high table as these movies progress. You know, the adjudicator, you know, she was fantastic in this, very stone cold, very stoic. She nailed her role. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, but it's not just that, it's his past, while not directly referring to his past, with Angelica Houston as the director. And, you know, you travel more and you see more of how this world affects other places. Like you go to Casablanca, where he goes to another Continental, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, to me, it's these movies literally, if you had to put a timeline on these movies, you know, you look at movies like Halloween, you know, you have one and then you have the most recent, that's 40 years. This movie franchise literally takes place, if I had to say, in maybe 7 days.
Yep.
So
I think it's literally stated a few weeks in one of the films. Where it's like this. I think it's this one, the third one actually, where the adjudicator mentions over the last few weeks or something.
Oh yeah.
So it's a very short time frame.
Very short time period.
So
when you think franchise, you're not used to that.
Matt made I think you touched on time, and that's a bit important piece of what I'm having issues with. Matt used a video game comparison, and I'm going to use one too real quick. Who here's familiar with Metal Gear Solid?
Yo.
Me.
Okay.
I played it
I love those games.
Metal Gear Solid follows a character named Solid Snake, who is a tactical stealth soldier, super soldier kind of thing. And he has a similar character arc as John Wick, in which he starts with a very human basic template and turns into, near the end, of just like, we're just these murder beasts roaming around. Our time has passed, but we can't unstick ourselves from the horrors of war because we are just killers. The difference is, in that series, you're talking about like probably good decades worth of time through the chain of events. And
it's longer, to be honest. I think it actually, from 1 to 4, I think the timeline's about 15, 20 years or something.
Yeah, I didn't know the exact time, but that's just it. Like it's spread, and you assume these are calm moments, to where this movie, Ryan, you're right, this whole series probably takes place within a week. And in some ways that's kind of amazing, but there's not enough slow moments in these movies to give breathing room. Or at least in this third one, it was just action after action after action, and there's almost no pauses in between.
My issue wasn't really the action after action. It was more so the same plot after same plot. It was John Wick goes to a person to ask for a favor, to go to a person to ask for a favor, to go to a person to ask for a favor, to go to a person to be told to kill the guy, to say no. That's the whole movie. And it's just like, as much as I want to get into it, it's so thin. It is like this one, to me, more so than the other two, actually than all the other three, feels more like, all right, how do we get John Wick from murder room to murder room? And then we'll write the plot later. Like, let's come up with the action sequences. Then we'll tie a string between them, and that'll be good enough. And it hasn't felt like that until this one. And for me, that's where I lose it. Cause like, I agree with Joel. I got bored in like the last third. Like the Continental thing, I wish I had taken a break and turned it off before I watched that sequence, because by the time I got to that sequence, I was kind of bored with the movie. So like I'm watching, I'm like, this is cool, but I just don't really care anymore. Like I know where it's going because I'd seen somebody had shown me the clip of John Wick falling off the building because it was like people falling off buildings. Or it was like Black Widow and a whole bunch of people like, how the fuck did they survive this? So I knew where this was going, and it was just kind of me like checking my watch, like, can we just get to the part where we throw him off the building? Because I was done with it. And I've watched that sequence since, and I'm like, this is fucking incredible. This is so cool. This is like almost cathartically awesome. But I was so burnt out by the time I got to it that I didn't care as much. And I think that's kind of my problem with the movie is like the parts are damn near perfect and awesome. Yep. I just don't care about the sequences of how we're getting there. Like it's not grabbing me to move me with it, even if all the parts are as good as filmmaking can be.
Yep.
Was it Fast and Furious 7 where we're having this same discussion about by the time you get to the end action sequence, you just kind of like, I'm burnt out.
Like I don't care about this fucking plane. Like I don't.
Yeah, and it's like
just in the plane. But yes, I know what you mean.
It's just like move about it if there were snakes.
I think I have a different level of disappointment in this than Fast and Furious because you get into a rhythm of like, this is what Fast and Furious is going to be. Like they're going to do it well or do it poorly, but we have a sense of what you're coming into and fine. This, to reinforce what Brian said, all the set pieces, all the characters are captivating. They're interesting. You want to learn more about them, but it's missing the through line. You know, it's missing a more meaningful through line. I want to like this movie more than I did. That's the tough part. I want to like this movie more.
I have a thought in my head that I need to get out because if I don't get it out now, I'll probably forget. But it's just come to me. You know, we talk about like superhero films. It's all like, oh, look at how the big set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
These John Wick films, they're kind of a little bit like superhero films, but for adults. You know, they're R-rated superhero films. It's like these big bombastic action sequences.
Oh, they're very R-rated.
Oh yeah, and I love that about them. It's like I think that's what I love about them the most, and I think that's maybe why I'm giving them a bit more leeway than like you and Brian are, Joel, is because it's the first sort of like proper R-rated action film series we've had since that's been this enjoyable that we've had since like maybe Die Hard. Like, you know, going that far back, I can't think of another R-rated action series that's been this well made in like the last 20 years, to be honest.
That's not being very fair to Blade.
Blade superhero.
Blade has like one good film.
Hey, Del Toro made part 2. That's not bad either.
Hey,
it's okay, but there's too much. There's too much CGI. By the time you get to the end of that,
yeah, you're right.
It's not wrong.
Yeah, it's so bad. We should cover the Blade films as like a little.
Should we?
I think so.
That'd be a great mini season. We get Ryan Reynolds and Parker Posey in the same movie. Like, how could you go wrong?
That would be a fascinating experience.
And Triple H.
Oh my god, and Triple H.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's kind of like where I'm sort of looking at it on this kind of like things like not really the plot is kind of like sidelined on this kind of film. Like it's not a very plot driven film. It's more about the sort of like the sequence, the visuals, the action sequence. And I think 4 does it better because the visuals are that much more gorgeous. Like the style, like every time I watch 4, I'm always blown away by like, oh my god, this looks incredible. Like this looks beautiful in some places. And I think that's kind of where 3 falls down a little bit. It's
Matt, I have to interrupt really quick because I think 3 is almost as gorgeous as 4, but the problem is they didn't get the higher quality actors that they got in 4. 4 raises the stakes a little bit by
Angelica Houston begs to differ.
Does she got a paycheck for this movie, man? I did not like her in this at all. No.
You didn't like her, or you didn't think that she was acting? Because like I don't think you're supposed to like the character.
I didn't give a shit about. I don't really care a lot about any of these characters much. Like that's not my problem. I'm looking at the actors having a good time. Like I look at Lawrence Fishburne, I'm like, he is having the time of his life, and I love watching.
You gotta
so
go,
good
motherfucker.
Like I love watching it every second of it. Angelica Houston went like, oh, I like Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I'll come act with Keanu Reeves for a little bit. What do I have to say? Okay, I'll be mad here. I'll be happy here. Okay, yeah, done. And it's like cool that we got Angelica Houston in it, but she did nothing for me. Whereas like Halle Berry, I expected to feel that, and Halle Berry, I'm like, okay, she fucking came to play. Yeah. She kicked ass.
Well, Halle Berry is one of the only other people in this film that actually went through the same training that Keanu Reeves did.
Yeah,
she
it
actually did
shows.
the firearms training, and it, like you said, it shows.
Yeah.
And there's that sequence in Casablanca, which another thing that just comes to mind very quickly, the Continental, originally in John Wick was based on, what was the name of the bar? Parrots Bar, is it, in Casablanca, the film? Where like
I should know that answer, and I'm not going to pretend that I do.
so basically it's like this kind of neutral territory where Nazis and Americans, like you sort of go there, but you don't ever fight there, and that's what the Continental was based on. And I liked how they kind of like, oh, we'll go to Casablanca as like a little bit of a reference to that in
That's
this
cool.
one, and I liked that. But I liked again we sort of seeing visually wise, it's something different as well. We've gone from these like very urban, sprawling cityscapes to this kind of sandy, foreign. I don't know. That's a horrible way of putting it. That's like it's very Trump
Sandy
support.
foreign. Yeah,
It's a very Trump supporting thing. Sandy foreign piece of shit. But do you know what I mean? Like that. It's the architecture is so much different. It's that kind of like almost like ancient ruins things, like where you've built something into these ancient things. And I just like the action sequences become a bit more interesting because of that. Because you've got sequences like you got that amazing bit where the dog runs up, jumps off, and like leaps up using
Runs up the wall.
Yeah, using Halle Berry though as a jumping thing up the wall, and then that attacks the guy, and then the guy comes like rolling down the stairs after the dog's finished with him.
All right, so before we do the deep dive, this is what I'm gonna say, because you guys are absolutely right. These movies, they have threads, and the threads are very, very thin. These movies are not made for the threads. These movies are to be spectacular. I can't even talk today. These movies are supposed to be cinematic action thrill rides that are visually stunning, and they are just that spectacle. If you can weave a decent story that leaves you to beg questions, even if the questions are ridiculous, like why does he have to keep going up and up and up? Why can't he just go to the high table? That, you can suspend disbelief and understand, like, these are the levels that he has to go. It's all about connections and how people are connected in this underground world, that you have to go through these hoops and ladders. You eventually get there at the elder, you go basically above the high table, but it's not, the writing is good for what this film is. The world building is good for what this film is. If you're just sprinkling a little bit of plot here and there, the movie does it, and it does it effectively. It leaves you asking questions. Now, if you sit there and you ponder it and keep asking questions, because I literally just did it, you're like, this doesn't really work for me. My question is because in the next movie, we see the elder is someone different, and it's like the one before me. So, I asked the question, what's the point? And I don't care to know that answer. If someone keeps getting replaced, someone at the table or it doesn't matter. I just like the fun of these movies, and if they're fun and they leave a little bit for me to say, okay, the plot is okay, I can suspend disbelief. These movies were made for the point of being a spectacle, and it achieves it. That's my rant. I'm getting off my soapbox.
I agree with you, achieves a spectacle, but I disagree on your validating the spectacle, because I think the story needs to be there, and it's not, and it does bother me.
Why can't you just have an action movie that just sprinkles a little plot here and there? And...
I had that with the first one, where it did exactly what you're saying, and then they've missed the mark every other one of them. The first one did exactly what you just said, and then the rest of them didn't. So I agree with you when it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't.
So when they start explaining things more, that's when you have problems, because you want more answers?
No, because I want answers that don't feel like they're made up. Like, oh, fuck, I forgot to write an answer for that. And that's how almost every answer feels. Like, oh, yeah, like it feels like the rules change just a little bit every time. It doesn't feel like they had a fucking master book that they were going to, or a show Bible that they were going to.
Because it never the first one was not as popular as they thought it was.
Exactly. So like it never felt
like the first one was
like
low budget. Let's put together this.
I can see that,
film.
Brian.
Yeah. Well, so it never had that show Bible, and without it, it feels kind of like making it up as you go. And even if they're doing a good job of it, it doesn't have that. When that storytelling quality does not match the quality of the rest of your filmmaking, that difference bothers me, because the quality of the filmmaking is the best I've seen in some of, if not ever. Like, to me, this is like James Cameron level. Like, that guy knows his craft. These people know their action film craft. Like, I am equating them like my favorite filmmaker. It's just their story is down there, and like that, it bothers me. The gap bothers me.
In the first movie, John Wick was the main character. After this, the Continental is the main character of it. And it goes back to what I said my concerns were in the first place. It's just like, part of what's great about the first movie is that the Continental is this fascinating mystery. And the more they peel back the layers, the less curious I am about it. And it's just kind of a bummer in a way.
Yeah. All right, but let's we did a long hot take on this one, so our show breakdown is going to be like 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
and it wasn't me this time.
But I think that makes sense, because a lot
too.
of what we talked through is the story in some of these shows and how that through lines. And this is a bunch of awesome set pieces, so it's not like we're going to be talking a lot about story beats. It's just going to be action beats.
That's true.
So I think this is a good like ratio of what we're talking about.
So let's get into some of these action beats. This movie picks up with right where the second one ended, with everyone in New York's an assassin. And every one of you told me that would make sense in this one, and no, it fucking didn't. Everyone in New York's still a goddamn assassin.
Not everyone in New York's an assassin.
God damn it. They're either dancing at a party or they're an assassin. Whole population of the planet.
Well, I didn't say that they weren't either dancing at a party or they're assassin. I said not everyone's an assassin.
The most chill party about violence ever. Nobody dancing in these places even bother to look over. Like, fuck, okay, I'll be collateral damage. Whatever. We can't stop dancing.
But the movie does a very good job of, like, it starts like exactly like Ryan said last week. If you listened, it's very earned. Like that, it does start like you feel like your heart pick up with it like right away. Like this thing gets going and it does it well. And then as soon as by the time you meet Ernest in the fucking library, where he's like, I should go like 10 minutes, Ernest. He's like, who's gonna know? And he's a fucking tree. He's the biggest dude.
My favorite thing of that whole action sequence is when John's making like noise and stuff like that. You've got Ernest going, shh.
Yeah.
In the library. I just love that.
He kills him with a book. Like, that's fucking
it's
cool.
brilliant.
He doesn't kill. He murder, like, just straight up just breaks his neck over the book.
And then files it back away.
Yeah, and then puts it back. Yeah, right where it's supposed to go.
My favorite thing about that though is he's been keeping the coins, the mark, and the picture of Helen. It's a good job. No one else ever wanted to read that book.
Yeah, how did he pick like the most unattractive book in the library?
It's a gorgeous looking book as well.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
If I saw that, I'd be like, ooh, so look at that.
Whatever it said on the
there's some
spine
gold
had
coins
to be
in here and some weird mark. I think, and a picture of a man and his wife. This is a weird thing. I want a cross.
Yeah. Cross.
I'll put those. I'm going to put those back now. I feel like I may have stumbled on something. It's like finding a suitcase in the middle of the woods. It's like, I'm not going to touch whatever's in there.
The thing is, in this world, I have to imagine if someone opened that book, like, oh, I found an assassin book. I should put that away. And they pick up the next one. Oh, I found a different assassin's book. I should put that one away. Third book. Oh, I found another assassin's book. I should put that one. Because fucking everyone's an assassin.
Maybe that's the story I want to see. Yeah. Not like they're doing this Continental preview. I want to see the library one where there's all these assassins just coming in, just filing away the little personal things in these.
There's always someone in a corner with a knife just cutting out the pages. Like, God damn it! Like, I gotta make my hideaway book.
Just the one non-spy guy accidentally running across that book and picking it up, and then the whole movie be John Wick chasing after him.
Give me back my coin. That's my
I
ticket.
want my photo back.
Marker.
Now, I think it'd be more interesting in the photo of Helen. To be honest, he seems to kill people over pictures.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, it goes back to like, what little does he have left of her?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is the continuing through line of this entire series is his deceased wife, which makes sense because that's everything that he gave up the life for. Right.
I mean, there is that moment in the film later on where he's talking to Winston, where Winston's basically trying to talk him out of killing him. And he basically says, yeah, but if I'm still alive, I can remember her and she stays alive. And like, I can see that part of it. And I like where Winston comes from. It's like, yeah, but at what point, like, would this be the John Wick that Helen would want to be still around? Like, you know, it's better to die who you are than live and become a monster. What is it like? The line from Batman: "You either die a hero, or
Yeah.
you long enough to become the villain or something."
And John Wick definitely comes our next series is another horror franchise. John Wick kills more people than the entire 12 movie series in one movie. Every movie, pick 1 through 4. Everyone he kills more than everyone our next villain does.
No, don't we have like that thing in one of them where
we
like
don't have an official head count
30,000
on that, so we're not sure if we can count it or not. But I know what you're talking about. There's no official head count. We don't know. It could have been abandoned. We don't know. Well, let's keep moving because after this we get the horse, and I got to tell you, horse slapped kick to the face murder was not on my bingo card. Like I did not expect.
It's so good though.
It's so good.
Like
It's real good. Like I didn't love the horse stuff just because it felt like a little too slow, or like this is a little silly. But the horse kicks were very, very good.
The horse stuff for me, I really enjoy it because it's whenever John Wick decides to go full tilt camp that I'm in. I'm so in.
Okay.
When the campier it gets, the more fun I get. I think Zero from this movie really gets that too. And that's what kind of keeps him fun and engaging. The horse stuff, him hanging off the side of the horse and shooting the gun underneath it, I fucking love it. Like it's just so dumb and so fun. Like that's
it takes you back to True Lies, and like the best sequence in True Lies is that horse sequence. I think because it's just so stupid and so funny and so campy, but it works so well. And again, in this film, I think it works really well. That like the idea that he goes into a stable, and it's like that thread thing of like, we need to get him onto a horse. How do we do that? Let's have him go into the stable for like the Central Park horses, and then have a fight in there. And the horse kicking stuff is so good though.
I did like them fighting in the stable because it felt really like dry and unappealing backdrop, which is a large difference from everything else, which is neon laden and like a lot of different color tones and palettes. It felt a lot more grounded in a way that I appreciated, and just a different type of set piece.
We just skipped the knife fight though.
No, that comes next. At least according to my
we have.
No, I thought the knife fight was before.
Oh, was it?
I'm just looking. I'm looking through.
I love the knife fight.
He goes into the place. He gets the antique gun, and like I don't know if anyone's seen Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah.
What he's doing with that gun when he takes it apart, and direct reference to that film because
that's interesting.
Ugly, whatever, I can't remember the character's name. He goes to a gun store and he takes apart, like he gets these 3 guns and he takes them all apart and basically puts them all together to get like a really perfectly working gun. And I love that whole sequence though, because it's just like he takes all the time, like then he puts one bullet in, shoots one guy, and then just runs away. And it's just like all that. It goes back to like contemplative things, like that moment of like, I'm just gonna reload the gun. It's like, I'll just rebuild this gun, one shot, okay, that's done, and then move on to the knives. And everything.
I was honestly a little disappointed that it was one shot because I'm like, oh man, what is he putting together? This is gonna be so fucking cool, and it's over. Oh, damn, it was really cool. I'll give him that.
I just, and what I like about these movies is that they don't just make it all about the guns. They just make it about the fighting. And if there's something that you can do with fighting, we find it in the next movie with sword play, and sword plays in this one too with Zero. But this one with the knife fight, I just thought that was a very nice thing. But we'll get into the end battle. But my wife calls this one John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum and lots of glass. Because there's a lot of glass breaking in this movie. It is quite ridiculous. 2 had a lot to my recollection. And then 3 is like, we can do more. But just the ending of the knife fight sequence is, he's sitting there ramming a knife in the head and he thinks he's done. And some guy's like moaning and he's like, oh, great, I better finish this guy up. He just picks up an axe and just lobs it at him.
God, the axe throw is so good.
It's so good.
The entire knife fight had this feeling of like, can this be over now? And I really appreciated it because it felt like everyone who's like taking the stabs, like, I'm fucking tired of fighting. God damn it.
Especially at the end.
Yeah. But like when the last guy he threw knives into, he threw way more than he needed to. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, I'm tired of this. And it was like, I really enjoyed that added like physicality to it. Like it just made that fight so much more fun to watch. Even my wife.
What's great is like the slow push into the eye at the end. I remember sitting in the cinema and like a collective
got one
went
out of me.
through the whole cinema.
God damn.
I was like, I remember physically watching that and thinking, this is Jason Voorhees.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is what Jason Voorhees would do.
I have Jason Voorhees in my notes from when he tied the rope around the dude's neck on the horse and just dragged him into the city. I'm like, this is a slasher movie kill. Like, what is this doing in here? But I think the knife sequence is so good. Like, even my wife was like, I have never seen a sequence like this before. This is awesome. And keep in mind,
and again,
by halfway through part 4, Chewie was going, fuck, do they have to do another action sequence? Like, she said that twice. Like, she was so checked out on John Wick. But like this one, she dug. Like that was a good one. That was a really good one.
The fact that Chad, however you say his last name, Tatskill, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try. I tried. I failed.
Chad S.
Yes, Chad S. and Derek Kolstad. I knew that one. He's the writer. But the fact that these guys know action and know what people want to see, you definitely feel that in these sequences. And again, that goes back to my comments earlier about these movies are made just to showcase action set pieces. And it's just, you get that appreciation from them. Remember that Chad S. and Keanu Reeves worked together on The Matrix. And it's just, and thank God for that, because we would not have John Wick.
Yeah. Where do we go after? So we already did the horse stuff, and then he goes to talk to Angelica Houston, and then where's our next action sequence after that? Because I have
Casablanca.
But is it Casablanca's the next one, or is that when like the adjudicator starts murdering anyone who helped John Wick? Like, she just starts murdering.
She doesn't murder, she punishes.
No, so
all those people who died disagree.
We have the adjudicator visiting the Bowery King, but we don't have Zero coming in until a bit later. So she goes and visits him and basically says, "You're on notice. You got 7 days to fuck off." And and you got Lawrence Fishburne going with all the set.
He's chewing the scenery, and because he was so bold, that's why she took that as an affront. And that's why, like, all right, I'm going to put you in your place and kill all your peons, not pigeons, peons, and put you in your place. And then he gets 7 slashes. Because sometimes you gotta cut a motherfucker. But like Angelica Houston, she gets a sword through the hand because she helped. She was a helping hand. So
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So,
but all the henchmen that died don't feel very just punished.
Right. But that's a punishment.
But the henchmen,
Lawrence
it's
Fishburne.
like,
I know. I understand. I'm saying they murdered a fuckload of people. We're on the same page.
To prove a point.
Yeah. Either way.
I'm trying to defend this movie the best I can, man.
You don't.
All I know is that Ryan's trying to rationalize slaughter. That's what it comes down to.
World of
I don't need to rationalize slaughter. It's rational as it is.
Yeah, like I was fine with as much as I can. When we got to the Angelica Houston getting stabbed in the hands, my notes were "ouchie hand stabs." It's just like
every time someone gets stabbed in the hand, I'm just thinking, "Oh God, that's gonna hurt."
Yeah, and if only they could be John Wick and get stabbed in the hands, like cut through his hand, his hands just work fine, no problems whatsoever.
What I like about the sequence too, and you know, with Angelica Houston, and you look back on it now, is they never showed the ballerina's face, which is, I think that they were doing that on purpose, because I think they wanted to make a new movie, which they are now, with Anna de Armas as that ballerina, but we never see her face.
You do actually see her face,
because Chew and I were like, "Is that Anna de Armas?" Like, we were trying to see if it was her. Yeah, it's
not. You don't see it much. Like, it's like kind of in the background. There's one shot of when they're walking into the back, like her and John kind of lock eyes, and there's this kind of almost like a moment where he's basically saying, "Oh, I know, I was you at one point." I'm just thinking, like, did John Wick learn how to be an assassin by learning ballet? Because I might start doing ballet.
This is how I interpret, because we get some of this. He was never part of the Ruska Roma. He was someone that was an orphan from Belarus, and they brought in to train, and he was just an assassin for the Ruska Roma. But in the fourth one, when we talk about him getting his crest, that's a whole nother conversation. So,
right,
yeah.
Let's keep moving through some of these action sequences, because right now we're about to get to the Halle Berry stuff, and I really, really, for the most part, enjoy the Halle Berry stuff. This is they flirt with it in part 3, and then part 4 they just say fuck it, we're just doing it. But we'll get to that in part 4. But in part 3, when it comes to Halle Berry stuff, that's the first time I've really felt the video game angle of these movies. Like I said, part 4 they just fucking recreate a very specific video game, and it's awesome.
It's very awesome considering that's all one shot, and it's
Of
all
course it
practical as
Yeah.
well. There's
Yeah,
no
no.
CGI in that.
I mean, I'm
Even-
not surprised.
Even the flame stuff, it's all practical stunt work, and
that's-
that's amazing.
if you're gonna recreate
And
a
we're gonna
video
talk about
game and
that
you pick
next week.
that game, good choice. But this one, like when it comes to Halle Berry stuff, like it felt like as they're doing the fighting, it felt like those moments were like, your dog has recharged. Press X to launch dog. Like, and it just kind of
Your dog has eaten enough nuts.
Yeah,
Please
it's like-
more.
because it just felt
I
like
don't
every time
care.
things get too
I
bad and
love-
you hit it, the dog just launches from off screen. It's like, I fucking love this. This is great.
I love the dogs in that because they are literally just like furry missiles.
Furry
Yeah.
dog torpedoes aimed straight for either chest or nuts every time. It's like,
My favorite thing is like when she'll. There's one bit where like one of the dogs is like he's ragging around it like she shoots the guy in the head, he's dead, and the dog's still like playing
Yep.
with it like it's a toy.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking good.
yeah, that's some good shit. I like that. And I really like all the Halle Berry stuff. Like, I don't think her chemistry with Keanu Reeves was great, but I feel like it's a very specific actors that have great chemistry with Keanu Reeves, and she's just not one of them.
What I like about it is
Need
like how
Winona.
adversarial it is. Like how
Never
need
adversarial.
Winona.
Yeah, I just took it as them having a very forced by nature
Yeah,
transactional relation. Because the whole point of her doing this is because she owes a debt to John.
she has a
Wayne.
marker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can we talk about Jerome Flynn? That dude is just so good. Like he's a chameleon, like a literal chameleon, you know, but he's definitely playing Bronn from Game of Thrones. Just
Oh,
that kind of seethy, you know, wormy type of dude doing the best that's ever going to advantage him. But again, this is them trying to, you know, broaden the world. Oh, this is where our coins are minted. This is the first marker. Like, at that point, yes, I think they're trying a little too hard. You could just say this is a guy that knows how to get things. You know, that's fine. He's the Red of the Continental. You know, I'm a guy that can get things. So,
Yeah.
but I just, you know, he's so good, and where Lawrence Fishburne chews the scenery, Jerome Flynn just oozes it. You know, he just lets that evil charisma just slide off of you.
Yeah, and he did a great job. Like he had that same level that I get from Lawrence Fishburne of like, you're just gonna show up and have fun. He goes, oh, am I? He just has a great time. Like,
Let me be a slime ball. I got this.
yeah, like and he did a really good job with it. And I kind of felt the same thing from Halle Berry. Like you're just playing like an assassin whose daughter got taken away and you had to do this thing to protect her. And she just kind of nailed everything she needed to. And then she's just out. And kind of like most John Wick side characters, they could come back. They're not gonna, but they could. And I kind of appreciate that because it does kind of lead more into that world that I keep bitching about, but it does work for these things. If there's so many fucking assassins, it makes sense they're easy to lose within the world of all the other assassins because there's so fucking many of them. But for that sort of thing, it kind of works. And I also like by having John have a marker with somebody else, it also shows like how intricate he was to that world. Like
Yes.
he wasn't just some gun for hire. Like he was very much a part of the world, which, you know, does kind of discredit the first movie of how the fuck didn't Alfie Allen know who he was then. Really, really kind of fucks with that, but I can let that go because the first one's so good.
I mean, Alfie Allen was just a scumbag who didn't listen to anything anyway.
You could make that also kind of works, but it also
Yeah.
kind of still his friends should
Like,
know.
everyone,
Someone should know.
everyone else knew about John Wick, but then like Alfie Allen's just like, oh, I'm the big badass motherfucker, and like, you know, and his little gang of people who like hung out with him, they're just sycophantically attached to him. So
It would've
whatever
been-
he does,
Knowing
just-
where this franchise went, even though it, you know, like, they didn't know it at the time, it would have been kind of cool for like at one point one of Alfie Allen's thugs to be like, you didn't know that was Baba Yaga? Like I thought you were just like showing how tough you were. I thought like, okay, cool, we're taking on Baba Yaga. Like, you didn't know that's what we were doing? Fuck. Like that would
Well,
have been
like,
kind of cool.
nobody has. Like, I don't want to steal line because it's not my line for the end, but I don't want to just steal it here. Nobody has the line in that sequence. Nobody's line or moment is from the sequence where they're talking with Jerome Flynn and the
No.
dog.
No,
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's not mine.
That's fine because I do like the the whole thing, like started because someone killed a dog, and
No,
you
he
have
shot a
Sophia.
dog. Caught in the vest.
Well, no. In the first one, I mean, like this
right.
whole thing kicks off because someone kills the dog, and then you've got this moment where like Sophia's like, he shot my dog, like after like he's about to kill him, and he just looks and goes, I get it, and it's like, and I just like that as because there was like I remember like some complaints that were coming out, people going, oh, this is just about a dog, like literally like reviewers were saying it's a lot to happen just because of a dog, and I think that was like the filmmakers kind of saying like, yeah, he knows he overreacted, like this is our little way of saying yes, he overreacted a little bit, but he still doesn't care, like
yeah,
he's trying to help someone else not make the same mistakes as he's made, essentially.
We're basically at, this is usually when we start trying to wrap up a podcast, and we're only about halfway through this movie, so we're gonna try to step on the gas a little bit, and we're
gonna spend so long talking.
But we're gonna kind of jump to the end of this thing a little bit, which I apologize for, and there's a lot of stuff that we're kind of skipping to a degree, but I think we should just kind of jump to the Continental.
Well, no, because that's exactly because like you're right. This is exactly what happens. He goes to see the Elder. The Elder wants him to kill Winston.
So you're just gonna ignore everything I just said. You're gonna go over.
Well,
all this stuff. Let's skip. Okay, cool, let's go for it.
That whole sequence leads to this, but we have to talk about the road to the Continental, because that car scene or the motorbike scene to get to the Continental was cool as fuck. When he's trying to get to the Continental, and just the motorbike scene, I just have to say this, like when he cuts off the dude's arm and the arm goes into the spokes and flips back on another person, that's just so much fun to me. I mean, again, this movie is so stylized that it's like, how can we outdo ourselves? But
what I love about that sequence is like the way that you have this almost like a formation of motorbikes coming in, and then in unison the samurai swords come out, and like the way the light hits it and everything, it's just very, very cool. It's very kind of like, formation flying almost, of like, how planes would like fighter jets fly in formation. But I like how that ends as well, where literally like they crash out front of the Continental, and John literally just like slams his hand
on there, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And you've got Sharon standing there and he just goes, do not do that. It's like he sticks you in the cut. It's like, you don't.
See, look, that's like a 3 minute line of the
he's excommunicado. Like he says it just so fucking cool. Yeah, all great shit. But
we're at the Continental now.
Yeah, we got to just get to the Continental. My first note in the Continental is because that's when he and Zero can have their conversation, and he just starts talking about how much he loves John Wick. And I love
before
the
conversation, John sits on the sofa, Zero sits right next to him. Like we've all been in that situation where we've sat down somewhere and there's so many other seats around, and then someone will just come and sit right next to you, invade your space, and you're just like, so he gets up and then goes to the chair. I love that.
It's the urinal at the bathroom thing, right? There's supposed to be a quiet code of like, if there are open spaces, take at least one space past me, so I can have my little bit of privacy. Nope.
But then just that whole conversation is just the constant disappointment on Zero's face of like, he's not impressed by me. Like it's just it's just like a whipped puppy the whole time. It's like, but
what's so great is
but I'm so
Zero
cool.
throughout the film for the most part has been very kind of like stoic. And then the minute he meets John Wick, he's like, I'm a huge fan. It's like he proper like fangirls all over him. It's the dog. Oh, is this the dog? Is this the dog? Like, I'm a cat person myself, but is this the dog?
And throughout the whole movie, he does this whole thing with John, like, you and I are the same. And John, each time, no, we're not. Like, we are not the same. He wants so badly to be on same level with him that he's trying to do this like Batman Joker kind of thing that just does not work.
But it does not work for the characters. For me in the movie, I'm like, nah, I love it. Like it's so good. It
exactly
totally works.
Yeah, it's real good in the movie. Yeah.
And I never looked at the guy's name. Who plays Zero?
Mike.
Dacascos. He was in Double Dragon.
Yes. Well, the two of them, their chemistry is so good. Like they just play off each other really well. And like it's one of those rare moments where like you kind of have to let yourself kind of put your own bullshit away of like, no, Keanu Reeves giving him nothing, but that's how he's playing with him. Like he's brick walling him, and like that's giving the guy more to bounce off of like, no, I'll try this tactic. No, look how much I love you this way. And it's like not just fucking none of it's landing. It's just like I love watching that back and forth, especially knowing where it's eventually going to go. And kind of like other sequences we've had in the Continentals, like these two guys are gonna have to kill each other at some point. Like we know that's coming, and I appreciate that. I love the Matrix line in here. I love it when like we're getting like they're coming for us. What do we need? Guns, lots of guns.
Yeah.
I love the safe room full of guns. Like you walk in, like the first thing you see though, it's all these like kind of antique muskets on the wall, and like think, and you, like that's the first thing you see. You go, these are not going to be useful, and then like you just see the walls, all the really high tech ones. Like, oh no, okay, they're going to be useful.
And then the fight starts, like when they start getting like taken over, and the entire sequence, the first half of it is. It's kind of a big foreshadow for what 4 is going to be, where fucking everyone is bulletproof. But this is the first time we get that they wear these bulletproof suits. So everyone takes like 20 shots to kill. And it makes this very entertaining action sequence of just like, fuck, bullets aren't fucking working. And I really enjoy all of that. Cause it's been
John would have a few moments just like pulling up like a cloak.
Yeah. Do you remember Peacemaker? Like, there's gaps in the armor.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's basically doing. He's just shooting
like,
and shooting to get to the gap. And then it's like, he always like rams the pistol in the neck. It's like,
they even say that, like, when the adjudicator's like, these are the new ones, like they have better armor. Like, look for gaps in the armor. Everything about just this last, I mean, it's like Winston say, you know, if you want peace, prepare for war, and that's Parabellum. But I like
Civis pacem Parabellum. Parabellum is prepared for war.
Man. I can't speak Latin. Let it go.
Well, you do.
I like the.
It's a very useful language to learn. A dead language that no one actually speaks anymore is very useful to learn.
I enjoy the authenticity, and this movie gets a lot of credit because there's that scene when they're in the water, and John Wick pushes himself away. Because when the guy fires, the bullet doesn't have enough velocity to go forward anymore because it's being stopped by water. I think that's something really cool. They can keep that in there, you know, and did that on purpose, which they did. You know, it makes it more authentic. You know, really put you in that world. I like how the transition from guns to going to he's going to find Zero, and that's when you get all the glass breaking. It's just everything about this final fight. If you don't like the plot, but still, it's earned. Everything about this final sequence is earned.
Even not liking the plot, I still think it's earned. I still think just the way it's ramped up organically, it works. Like, because this is a movie that it suffers very unfortunately from the first movie hitting the bar so high immediately and doing it with something that's going to have to be a mainstay throughout, gunfights. There's not really a ton you can do with gunfights until you start having to force yourself to get creative with it, which I think the end of this movie does. By giving them that super bulletproof armor, we got to find the cracks in the armor, as we were saying, to the Lance Reddick line later. We need more firepower. They both just come back frustrated and just get bigger guns. Like, okay, this will fucking get it done.
Well, no, it's John Wick who comes because he comes and goes, Winston, need more firepower.
Yeah. And then get the shotgun.
My favorite bit of that Winston doesn't say a thing. He just that gesture. He's just like, well, fucking take your pick. There's guns everywhere in here. I love that. And it's just like, right. But I do like when they switch to the shotguns and he's like, armor piercing. It's just like, and then that first bit you see where that just takes the dude's top of his head off, just gone. And it's like, here we go. Should have started with those.
And then just like then everyone just starts fucking dying, and it's just great. Like, my gun's working again. This is wonderful.
It's like he had blue balls from that first attack, and it's like, oh yes, finally. Oh, here we go.
And like, I'm currently playing Armored Core 6. I'm very, very nerding out about it. But this had that very cathartic feeling of like, oh, I didn't have the right rig. Like, oh, now I'm doing damage. Now I figured it out. I just need to go to a different build. This is totally Joel's getting what I'm saying.
Yep.
But after the upgraded fight sequence, if you've been listening, if you've been a fan of this network since the beginning, you will have known we have never properly shut up about The Raid. I have been obsessed with The Raid. I think The Raid is one of the best action films ever. It's probably one of the only ones that's better than John Wick. Raid 2, I keep right up there with The Raid. I think they're fucking incredible movies. And whenever these people come in, to any movie, I get excited. I got excited in Fast and Furious 6 and they brought in Cho Taslim. I'm excited in this one when the two guys who I always forget their names because they're hard to pronounce, but we had Mad Dog, and then I don't even know what the character's name was in the Raid 2, but he was the knife guy from Raid 2. And they have a fight with John Wick where they're just nerding out with John Wick the whole time too. And it's like, I just love these dudes. And the only problem I have with it, and it's kind of a problem, it's the first time where I'm like, oh, Keanu can't keep up. Because I've seen these two dudes fight. They're slowing themselves down because they are so goddamn fast.
But again, it kind of ties into what I was saying earlier on. They're cats playing with their prey.
Yeah.
They could, that you can see the way that they're fighting. They can take him.
100%.
But they keep playing with him. And that's what I like about this film, where it does that. It's kind of like doing that contrast between cats versus dogs a little bit. And you can see that in Zero and his people, like all his students, as he calls them. And like I said, like you can tell that they're holding back, but it sort of falls into that thing of like, oh, they're playing with him. Like, they have him on the ground. They could just slash his throat, but then it's like, good to meet you, Mr. Wick, and all this sort of stuff. Then they lift him back up, and it's like, no, we're not done playing yet. And I think what that does, it's like they're playing so much that he then is able to just kind of get the advantage, because he's then got into mindset, oh, they're playing with me. I can try and figure a way to beat them.
Yeah, because
by playing into that.
If they went hard against him, John Wick died in that scene. Like, I don't.
Oh, if they want to kill him straight away without anything, they just slash his wrist, slash his throat when they have him on the ground. They literally have a knife at his neck. But then they start playing with him, and I think that's what makes that sequence.
Well, look at Zero.
Yes. It's not just a fight.
Zero fucks with him too when him and Zero have their fight. So
Zero saves his life.
Yeah.
Like, John Wick should have died, and Zero saved his life because he wanted to be the one to kill him. Like, John Wick gets quite a few lucky breaks in this movie. But also, he's earned those lucky breaks. Like, I even buy that. Like, I can complain about the world all I want. They've done a good enough job that makes me know these two henchmen, who are just these awesome fucking fighters, would see John Wick like, oh, I like him. Like, oh, I don't really want to kill him. Like, I get that in this world. I think that works. They've done enough legwork to make that shit believable. And then I still get to watch these two guys fight, where you don't get to see them much in American films. So whenever they're around, I'm just like, yee! And I loved it. I do wish, like, it just made me want to watch the Raid 2 again. Like, the fucking knife fight in the kitchen at the end of the Raid 2 is one of my favorite fights of all time. Joel, I'm guessing you haven't seen the Raid 2?
Of course not.
I haven't seen the Raid 2 yet. I've seen the first one.
They're good. Matt. They're good, Ryan. I got you, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
They're good.
Matt, you need to see the Raid 2. It is.
It is up your alley.
It is so fucking good. Like,
maybe we should do it. Maybe
camera work's not as good as John Wick 4, but it's like, it's close. Like, it's that level of quality. Need to see the Raid 2.
We should do a very, very short series on the Raid.
This is a 2-part on the. I totally would. I'm actually going to see the new 4K restoration of the Raid at Beyond Fest in a few weeks. I'm very, very excited about that.
Ooh.
All right, we got to the end of this movie. John Wick's about to get shot the fuck off the building. My only note at the end of this was, these are my last 2 notes of John Wick Chapter 3. Oh, this is a gift for the fans of the Raid. Hot damn, that was a long fall. John Wick 4. Like,
I love Ian McShane in this because he didn't even bat an eye. Like, he knew what he had to do, and it was just so Winston. Like, we've come to know Winston over 3 films. Like, Winston's gonna watch out for Winston.
Yeah.
He knew that John Wick was going to survive that fall, so that's why he did it.
And he also knew he's wearing a bulletproof vest and didn't shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I have to look good in front of this lady who represents the high table, so I'm going to shoot him, not in the face, but I'm going to shoot him and watch him fall because I know he's going to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil next week, but he gets hit by 1,000 cars and falls down a million stairs, and he's
That's
fine.
What my wife calls the 4th one. This one was the last one. The next one is bumper cars and falling down the stairs.
When I actually bought the 4K Blu-ray for 4, when I got that steelbook, I got it from an actual store because it was like a HMV exclusive, and the guy at the, like, as I was paying, like, he was saying, have you seen it? I said, yeah, I've seen it. It's so good. It's like, oh, them stairs though, man. Fuck.
It's a lot of stairs.
Goes back to, so, like, remember was it Fast and Furious 6 when we're talking about when they were falling down the stairs in the underground, and I was saying they're solid concrete as well.
Yeah.
They're solid stone.
Oh yeah. Is there anything else we need to say about this thing? Because I think we've done it.
Nope, quotes.
Let's do it. I'm gonna go very first because I've already said my quote, and I have to bring it up again. I'm a huge fucking fan of the Matrix, so guns, lots of guns. Absolutely my favorite line in this. My favorite moment, I was going to do the knife fight because that's just such a great scene, but it's just going to be the horse kicking dudes in the face because
Solid.
I didn't expect it. I did not see it coming, and it was pure joy when it happened.
The
And then it
double
happened a
kick is the one
second
that
time.
gets me. The
When you're out of
double
weapon.
kick is so good.
Yeah,
it's like
You're out of
so
weapons, use a horse.
It's going to work every time. But that's fine.
I'll go. I already alluded to it because it is my favorite. Just the chase to the Continental is really good. When he sliced dudes and it detaches, but still in his coat, and it flies back and hits the spokes of the car, and it crashes. Like, there's just something about this. Like, you really have to be very intricate, and I really appreciate the work there. My favorite line, as much as I like, sometimes you got to cut a motherfucker. It's when Sharon and Winston are watching John leave, and Sharon goes, "Do you expect him to make it out?" And Winston goes, $14 million bounty on his head, and every interested party in the city wants a piece of it. I'd say the odds are about even.
That was a good line. The series, my grievances aside, lots of good lines.
Yes.
The
In
very
this.
quotable films, I think.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
just little throwaway things, all big fucking monologues, which this week I won't do a big monologue.
Woo!
Thank you. I'm going to do mine real
Next
quick
week,
here.
next week, on the other hand.
I just said that.
Fight moment, Vivaldi in the backdrop of the Continental lobby fight there. I'm a sucker for any time that they loop in and time action with music, and that was a good break from the sort of womp womp of a lot of the club music type stuff.
You don't
quotes-
like EDM?
What's great
That
as
was
well
such
about
Quotes.
a dad line. Oh, the womp womp of the music.
what's great about that as well.
Turn
It's
down your womp womps.
what's great about that though is like
Dad pod.
it's built into the story as well, because you literally have Winston said. "Why don't we
My
set
quote
them-"
here is we did another glimpse of the
Hey
doc.
Joel, I was backing you up on that.
and
I was backing you up on
time.
your actual point.
I appreciate it, Matt. We did a glimpse of the Doctor again, healing up John Witch, and they're doing the excommunicado countdown, and John Witch looking at the clock the entire time, going like, "Doc." Doctor goes, "Yeah, halfway there." John Witch, 5 seconds. Switchboard operated. Effect 5, 4. He counts down 3, 2, 1, and then he has to stop, and he says, "Sorry, Mr. Witch," and John goes, "There are rules," and Doctor says, "There are rules," and it's a nice to see him again, but it's also a nice acknowledgement of that, like, the Doctor knows he's a cog in this whole system, and as much as he wants to help John, he just can't.
But then he still has to get shot by him at the end. So at that point, just fucking finish this.
Yes.
If you're gonna do
Yes.
it, just do it, man. Come on.
Well, that was the thing. So he's like, it's not about the stitching at all.
No, it's because he told him where the medicine was.
It's
but
the medicine, yeah. And
Yeah.
he said, and I like that he's like, he drops it and he goes, "They'll have known that I pointed out to you which pills to take."
Yep.
And it kind of like, it goes that idea of like, how much power the high table has, that they would just know as well.
It's the matter of fact, sort of.
Yeah. I mean, for me, there is the whole thing with the barracking, like, well, sometimes you got to cut a motherfucker, which is great.
Mhm.
Like anything that Lawrence Fishburne says. But I have to say my favorite line of this is, I gotta say, I'm a pretty big fan, because it's just so fanboy. Like that whole thing is so good.
Mhm.
And that, like, and for me, I'm kind of like, my favorite moment is same as Joel. It's why don't we set the mood? And like, they change the lighting, the classical music comes on, and then you've got the smoke grenades like come sliding. The sound design is just so good. Like just the simple things of like the sound of those smoke grenades coming in, the flashbangs and everything. Then that's sort of like going off, and like the music's still playing, and then you cut back to the safe room, and they're all finishing like loading the weapons up, and he's just sort of standing there, and just like gives him like a little bit of a nod, and then walks out whilst the music's still playing. And it's just, yeah, it's an amazing sort of like primer to what becomes like quite a very cool action sequence.
all right. That was everybody, right? Yep.
Mhm.
Believe
All right.
so.
We went long this week, so we're gonna have to forego plugs. I apologize. Listen to everyone's stuff; it's all great. And I think we need to say goodbye so that we can start recording the next week because you got to get to John Wick Chapter 4. We want to give you enough good stuff for Chapter 4. I don't want to waste time here. So thank you everyone very much for listening. We're gonna say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.